Hey guys, it's Riley here. Like I said in my last video that I filmed earlier today, I'm going to be talking more of the elaborate long story. I kind of put the other one, which I'll link below, in kind of like a long video. They're kind of like really more shorter stories. Basically, since it's a Halloween time, I figured to share my paranormal experience, and this one I'll be talking about the most like elongated and I guess in a sense still continuing ghost experience. So basically, like I said, I'm originally from York, Pennsylvania. I'm currently still in York, Pennsylvania, and in between that I moved to Florida, moved back, and then I met my sisters and very close friends, Marie and Katie, and I also met Megan when I was 12. So going on to that, when I was 8, we used to live with my aunt. And then we moved into this house where we had most of the experiences that I said in my last video, but this one is definitely the most elaborate and biggest thing ever in my life. And everyone that knows me, or everyone that kind of knows me really, really closely, knows about this. Or I try not to talk about it now because I don't know, I just don't want it affecting my life, but I feel like it is still. So basically, when I was 8 years old, we moved into this house, and there was a ghost girl. In a sense, I guess I treated it like an imaginary friend at first, and then when my sister started coming over, we kept playing with her too. Like I remember I never saw her, but I felt her presence, and I remember we used to always try to communicate with her and talk to her, and we named her Natasha. I don't know why we named her Natasha. I don't know if we somehow tried to do something and found out her name. But we never played with a Ouija board. I want to say that now. But I remember one instance that made me realize, oh shit, this is not an imaginary friend. So my dad used to hang out in the living room all the time. He would sit there and just kind of watch television. So each time we were kind of in there when he wasn't, we would be kicked out. And I remember we were playing there, trying to communicate with her. And we were going to go to the kitchen. I said, Natasha, if you want to go to the kitchen, hold my hand. Kind of like a normal gesture, just don't want to hold hands. And I remember feeling cold fingers. I remember someone holding my hand kind of like this. Kind of like a little kid, but I could feel the individual fingers and the coldness. And I remember it didn't freak me out. But then again, it did. I don't know how to explain the feeling. It freaks me out now, and it freaks me out thinking about it. And I think at the time I just didn't really understand, or I was kind of confused. But that happened. I don't really remember much after what we did. I remember just throughout, just trying to communicate with her. I distinctly remember hanging out with Megan. I think it was after I was 12, because that's when I met Megan. And I remember we were just going around taking photos of my house, trying to figure out if we see orbs or anything. And I distinctly remember this picture. We somehow either it got deleted somehow, or I don't know what happened to it, which is the weirdest thing ever. But I remember basically in my, like I said in my last video, and I did forget to mention this part. Basically, you would go upstairs, the 3rd floor, and there would be a landing, and then you would go up, and then you would turn, and that would be my brother's room. And if you go up and then you turn and then go around the landing and go straight back, it was my room. But in between my room and the landing was say this is my room. There would be a closet that was my brother's in there. I mean we did store some stuff of mine, maybe toys or maybe larger coats, but nothing. It was mainly my brother's. I distinctly remember opening the door and taking a picture, and I remember looking at the picture and seeing a little girl and a ghost dog, which was the weirdest thing. There's nothing ever experienced with dogs, as far as I know. But I just distinctly remember her face was kind of all ghostly. It was I don't know, I don't know how to explain it other than it was this girl in white, and it was just ghost mist. And I don't know where the picture was. It was never, I don't know. It's a really hard thing to even explain what could have happened to the picture. But it's something I distinctly remember. And just growing up and doing different stuff, kind of playing along with this whole thing that we had. Growing up, we just, I don't know, I think we played off of it as if we were like some supernatural team. I don't know how to explain it other than like I think our little kids' minds took something not imaginary that couldn't be explained and explained it in our kids' minds. And just we continue trying to make contact with her, and a few times, like over the years, I've done tarot cards. And I don't know if I did this on my own because I have my own tarot cards, or if I did it with Megan. I think it was with Megan and her parents, because her mom had her own tarot cards. And I kind of just asked, is Natasha a real girl? And it basically said no. And the scary part about that is that we just try to debunk it, like, maybe the cards lied and they think she's not an actual girl, but she's a spirit girl and all this. But to be truthful, I forgot about it for years, because my life kind of got, like, in a sense, very, very chaotic. And then I began having dreams, which I don't know, like, in a sense, I kind of, in a sense, feel like, I think based off this, because a lot of us kind of always had this supernatural thing going on, even as, like, when I was younger, when I lived down in Florida, there was some experiences I remember. I just kind of, in a sense, feel like I could be a psychic or medium. I don't know, like, it's just one of the weirdest things to even, like, think about, because it's like I'm completely normal. Like, I was in therapy for years and I wanted to talk about it, but I didn't want to be labeled crazy, because I knew it wasn't, like, I don't know, like, but I remember I was just having these dreams. I still continue to have these dreams. It terrifies me, because in the dreams there's just, it's her, but it's not her. Like, it's not a spirit, it's like some type of force. And I remember just starting out with these dreams. I went over to Megan's and talked to her about it while walking, and I said, I don't know what to do with these. I'm terrified of them coming true, because they're like, I don't, like, especially some of them are kind of like distant friends of their sister having the same experience I had it as a girl, and, like, them talking about it, being like, I want someone to come in and like talk about it. And because, as I don't know, I'm just gonna reach this, my real name's not Raven. My real name's, of course, if you look online, is not Mitchie either. It's Michelle. And I always go by Mitchie. Everybody calls me it, and the only people who don't are, like, my family members. They call me other nicknames and stuff, or like family that doesn't really do nicknames. Either way, I mostly go by this. A lot of my friends know me only as Mitchie, and they always forget my name is not that. So sometimes they'll be like, I'll confuse them and be like, what's my real name? And they'll be like, what? But I remember in one of them, their little sister was like, she's saying, like, you have a friend named Michelle. You have it, like, she wants you to get her. And I remember, in the dream, I was me, but, like, I was seeing kind of like how you normally see, like right now I see myself on camera. Like, I can do this and see myself. But in the dream, I was, like, looking, like, how you normally would look. Like, you're in the dream and you're looking at your friend. I don't know how to explain it in first person. But he was saying, like, I don't have a friend named Michelle. And I'm like, yeah, you do. I'm like, that's my first name. And it freaked me out. And having to just tell them, like, the ghost experience of the little girl, and being like, I need to come over to your house, because that's not normal for a ghost to travel outside the home they haunt, or the person they haunt. And just negative stuff happens, and just, like, things happen where I enter the house and just everything goes wrong, where doors are shutting and it's trying to hurt people. And then there was another one where I'm hanging out with my friends, and Megan calls me and says, like, dude, like, you need to come to my house now. And her house is actually pretty far away from mine. Not pretty far versus, like, my other sister's, but it's kind of like a drive. I never really drove it, but I knew it's a drive. And getting there, and I was so distraught, thinking, because I get very distraught if I, like, knew my sisters are in trouble and I can't get to them, or something like that. So my best friend had to drive. In my dream, my best friend had to drive me, and it was with this other person I don't really want to mention. And things like the same nature of the first dream happened. And I don't know, in a sense, they're just dreams or what. And I kind of feel like they just go on and on and on, over and over and over. It terrifies me. It like truly, because I don't know, like if it's real, I don't want to ignore it, but if it's not, what's the point of harboring over it? Yeah. But as I'm saying, it's still probably going on unless it's just my dreams just having like some sort of like weird thing going on. I've tried to do tarot cards. I just don't know how I can just explain answers or believe them, because I don't know. Like it's a weird thing, and I don't know. In a sense, I want to go back to that old house and do it over again, and because I moved away from that house, but it was still having experiences, and people who've lived in that house do not stay long. I would say the last person who lived there before the people who moved in stayed there 6 months, and they were deaf people, so I knew they weren't. So I wonder why they moved. I mean, granted, okay, the neighborhood went downhill. So there was underneath the people who lived in my house, which is the house below, it was like different apartments. Like we had the top house out, we had the bottom. I mean, they were drug dealers, but it seemed like the deaf people in them were pretty chill. Like they weren't fighting, they weren't, of course, they were creating problems for each other, because they're pretty quiet, which is really, we're drug dealers and everything. I guess I don't know how to explain it for like that, but they didn't last long. The people before them, I don't even remember them seeing them at all. The people who lived under us after we moved, they didn't stay long after us. The people there, and it makes me curious if they're having ghost experiences, and I don't really want to get involved with the downstairs people, but the upstairs I'm kind of curious about. So I don't know how to end this. I don't know how to wrap this up. This is like truly like I don't understand. So if anyone in a sense wants to just shed some like scientificness to it, or explain that unexplained, or just, I don't know, because it's confusing, to say the least. So I'll make some more paranormal experience videos, because I have one in my mind after I said something of my other house I lived at, which had like a ghost in it that like I actually knew the person. And so if you're interested and curious about being like, well, you know this person, just continue to the next video, and I'll link that also down below. So yeah, thank you for watching, and bye. Oh, and then before I forget, I will link Maria's stuff down below. As far as I know, she's the only one with social media stuff that people want, that is okay with like me sharing, because it's her band page and stuff. So yeah, bye.